afternoon, Michael. Thank you very much for joining me on Proper Tea with OBI. I'm here with Mike Ingall, CEO of Allied London. How have you been getting on, Mike?
We're fine, Will. We're working away. We're taking every day as it comes. I feel now in our 5th week, although I've been at home for 6 weeks because we closed our office a week early. We won't go into the politics of where we are because that's not the purpose of today. But I feel as though we are probably starting to come down a hill, whereas I think very much for the first 4 weeks we were going up a hill. But I think that the descent will be full of crevices and rocks and a lot of challenges for all of us, whatever business you're in.
And what's been the sort of, I mean, you've got a number of different business interests throughout real estate. How has it impacted you? Has it been different amongst different interests?
Yeah, I think the fundamental thing, or the fundamental element for every business, is cash. The conservation of cash, and just really the uncertainty. So I think whether you're in an asset business or a service business, you know, certainly the first 3 to 4 weeks have all been about survival, creating survival, and then ensuring you put the right management strategies in, whatever sort of business you are.
And I assume you're not sat outside of King Street at the moment, that you must have become quite tech savvy by the look of your background. Have you been using all these new ways of communicating effectively with your team?
Yeah, at the start, I'd never heard of Microsoft Teams. I'd never heard of Zoom. In fact, we struggled to make a Skype call, and I just about managed to FaceTime my kids previously. But so now we are familiar with it all. I certainly can't help thinking that a lot of it is actually here to stay. I've been enjoying the technology, the Zoom meetings or the Teams meetings. I find some of them particularly effective. It's very hard to get to the intensity, and it's very hard really to get creative. But you can certainly manage through these portals, and you can share views, and you can stay in touch, and you can do work.
In terms of, obviously, you're an expert in the office sector, and we work particularly closely now for 10 years on it. You've got your managed workspace operation, you have space for SMEs and refurbished buildings, and you also have a number of new build projects ongoing. Where there's lots of talk about the office being dead, no one wanting any offices anymore, which I don't actually believe in. But how are you going to react to this in terms of your existing portfolio?
Well, I'm going to start by working outside. So we're going to explore our roof working, and we're going to try and buy and lease as many roofs as we can.
Whereabouts are you? 20 stories there?
There or thereabouts, yeah. I mean, I love this solar technology. Where should we go now? We will go to our sort of very dear bonded warehouse.
Well, you've got lots of works going on in there, or you did?
We did. We've nearly completed our fit out. So we were due to launch this operation in June. We may still be open in June, but I wouldn't actually imagine at full tilt. So that's probably September. And then we can then move sort of quickly somewhere else. I'll stop messing about.
Answer the question.
I'll answer your question. Hang on a minute.
There you go.
It was. We'll go to our London office. How's that? So I'll imagine I'm in London. Now, what are we doing? We are thinking very, very carefully about what COVID strategies are. I've been reading all sorts of things from architects. I read an article on Bloomberg. I read something on LinkedIn earlier on from Cushman's about the sort of 6 foot to a rule. I don't really have a solution at the moment, and I don't think the solution is physical. I don't think dividing your workspace into 6 foot desks or 6 foot trunks that's not the way this is going to work. I think the way this is going to work is that we need to find another currency, and I don't think that currency is floor space. I don't think it's desks. It's all around people, and a little bit like your family. You're going to treat your business as a family. So in the same way, you've isolated with your family. You felt safe with your family. You felt at home with your family. You should those people, those businesses that are able to treat their business as a family, they're small enough to be a family, then I think you need to start to think about how you're going to work within that family going forward. Who's actually going to work on a Monday, who's going to work on a Tuesday, who's going to work on a Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. And you need to manage around that. You will have to sort of put in a place quite draconian controls over your family, over your people, about what they do outside of the workspace, in order because really it will only take 1 or 2 infections to derail your business again. So I don't necessarily think it's about what happens in the physical workplace. Yeah, of course, we'll need to put things into that, and we will need to do things around the physics. But it's more what you're going to put in to your staff, your management, and how you're going to work.
And have you already opened up conversations with because I know you're keen on striking partnerships with your occupiers as opposed to, an old-fashioned landlord and tenant relationship, but are you already speaking with your occupiers on how you can help or support them?
We're speaking to people every day, and we're quite fortunate in that we've got an operational side to our business. We're not just seen as a landlord. We have customers. We have people that we can sound out. The general feeling amongst the startups and the scale-ups and the more creative and tech centre is they really want to get back to the workplace. They're finding it hard to work at home. They're finding that their productivity is difficult. And these really are people who've been brought up to work in a collaborative way. I was fair to say that probably my generation were not brought up to work in a particularly sort of collaborative way. We worked for our companies, and we went to a place to work which was really only our companies. These are the people that go to work every day, and they're instantly mixing with 5, 10, 15, 20 different businesses, and they've grown up with that. So there's no way they want to stay at home. They might want to stay at home on a Monday or Friday, but where they're their most effective is where they're working very intensely and where they're really getting their production out. And certainly 95% of these people saying they have to be in the workplace. So if that's the message we're getting back, then we're going to have to accommodate and actually provide for that workspace to be safe. So certainly we're doing work around how we can make that type of workplace safer and actually help these people get what they need to get out of the workplace. Elsewhere, in terms of designing our future buildings, designing our future spaces, I think there's a lot to do, but there was a lot to do anyway.
Yeah. I
was quoted some time ago saying the office is dead. It is dead. You know, if you want an effective workforce, if you want a productive workforce, then you've got to provide for them lots of different places where they can do their work in your building. If you're a sort of tech and creative business, otherwise you won't keep the people. So walking into a space with 50, 60 desks all in a row and a sort of sofa in the corner as your breakout is just not really what it's about.
Yeah.
But we'd already got to that point. And I think what's going to happen now when we start to go back is we will evolve that process even further. You know, the workplace will be a place. It won't be just an office. And if we can get to that place quite quickly and evolve it in a response to COVID, then we will start to get people's confidence that they'd quite like to come back to that place.
I think that's a big thing, isn't it? Confidence. But just going back to you then. So how have you been getting through the last, say, 6 weeks? You've been at home. Have you been stuck in your office, or have you been doing anything interesting?
Well, I don't, as you know, I find it quite hard to work in any office, and despite what I sort of preach, I probably do my best thinking on the river, walking with the dog.
Or on your exercise bike?
I spent a lot of time out walking. Yeah, I spend quite a bit of time on my exercise bike. I have built an outside gym, and I spend quite a lot of time there. But it's fair to say I haven't not enjoyed this. I'm not enjoying it. I'm absolutely blessed that I have got none of our family have fallen ill, so that's a huge blessing. I think we've all been up and down the emotion scale as we've seen what this thing have done to people and what it's done to my community and our society. And it is tragic. But that's not to say I haven't found being at home for a time quite enjoyable.
Good. And what have you missed most?
Probably the coffee shop.
Not your kids.
I've seen my kids. I've got sort of 2 of them here, and I've got 4 of them I speak to every day remotely. We seem to have a weekly quiz. So no, that's a sin. No, what have I missed? Just sort of getting out, just a loafing around, if you like. You know, the fact the coffee shop's not open and I can't speak to the manager of the local coffee shop's a big thing for me.
Well, I've got 5 quick fire question and answers to finish on, if that's okay. So 1, what's your favourite holiday?
You know that my favourite holiday is, I was about to say the south of France, but you'll get the wrong impression. On a small town just north of Biarritz, where we go every year, and we are still trying to practice the art of surfing.
What's your favourite household item? Don't look behind because you've got your London office.
Favourite household item? Oh, tough one. I'm stuck.
You're not allowed to pass.
Favourite household item? Probably cooking. No. I'm sorry. No. I know. My Sage Heston Blumenthal coffee machine, without a doubt. That's my favourite household item.
Good. Favourite property deal?
Probably the Brunswick Centre in Bloomsbury, which was quite an epic challenge. Obviously, I'm proud of Spinningfields and what it is as a sort of total, but it's not a property deal, as it were. That's almost a career. But no, probably the Brunswick.
Good. And I've been told that you nearly played football for Nottingham Forest, played at Wimbledon tennis as an under 15, and were a very good rugby player. But what's your favourite sporting memory?
My favourite sporting memory?
Yeah.
I was also in the church choir up until the age of 17, and I was captain of the church choir football club. And we once played the Catholic church, because we were a Protestant church, and we won 7-0. And I scored all the 7 goals. And the final goal, unfortunately, the goalkeeper had to be rushed off to hospital because he got his hand between the ball and the post. And I broke 3 of his fingers.
And finally, what's the first thing you're going to do when we're out of lockdown? Apart from going to the coffee shop.
I might go surfing, mate. Huh?
Apart from going to the
I want to go surfing. Well, after I've had a family reunion, obviously, and we've had a party, I'm going to go surfing.
In France?
Down to France.
Well, listen, Mike.
I paddleboard on my paddleboard and try and get the largest wave I've ever got, which won't be very high.
Well, listen, mate. Thank you very much for taking time today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being there, Will.
Stay safe, mate.
See you soon, mate. Bye.